Okay, Julie. So I feel like I know so much about you that this is
No,
a
how are you
hard
going to do
interview.
this?
I know, because usually when I'm interviewing people, I don't know anything about them, which is honestly easier. But I want people, the goal of this interview is for people to really walk away knowing your heart and knowing like your passion and how you support people. And right off the bat, I'm going to say we're going to link your client, Rennie. We're going to
Mm,
link her podcast episode in the show
yeah.
notes. If people want to hear from one of your clients, like what it's like working with you, they'll have access to that. But I would love for you, you could take the whole time, you could take 30 seconds to say like how you got to where you are today. So for those listening, Julie is our RD supervisor. She supervises 13 registered dietitians and certified intuitive eating counselors on our team, meaning they come to her for advice of kind of how to handle situations in session if,
Uh,
uh-oh,
yeah, it just froze. You froze.
no. Okay.
Was it
No.
me? Did I freeze?
Yours went from like red to now it's yellow. Mm,
Oh,
hmm. It
what's
keeps,
happening?
yeah, it's like you keep freezing.
Let me see if I switch.
Now you're yellow. Mm,
Is that better? It's still red.
it's still red. Is mine red too next to my name?
Yeah.
Because yours
Mm-hmm.
is red too. So I don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck. Okay. It seems to be working. I don't know. It's like a little lagged.
Oh, now yours is yellow.
Now yours is red.
Oh, fuck.
I don't even know. I don't know. Should we keep going?
I mean, you could try it again. I don't. Yours is fine now. Is mine?
Yeah, it looks fine now. Okay. We have an editor who can edit this out.
Okay.
This is very like us to just be like, fuck. This is actually very
It's
real,
probably
but
fine if it was part of it,
I
right?
know. Like, what the fuck? Okay. So I was telling people about when you provide supervision one-on-one, you are helping our dietitians and counselors with obstacles that they have in session with clients. And yeah, you've been a counselor for 30 years doing this amazing work. So tell us your story of how you started out. Were you always a weight inclusive provider and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. I mean, oh my God, 33 years ago,
Crazy.
33. Yeah. I started out in clinical and like did not like that, of course, at all, and decided that I wanted to be in outpatient counseling, but like at that time, really the only way to get out of clinical was to for me was to go into diabetes. So I got my certified diabetes education certification and worked in diabetes education for about 20 years doing one-on-one diabetes education, insulin, Dexcoms, worked for an endocrinologist for 15 years. And I really enjoyed that part of my career. I also had my kids around then, so it was a very stable, like part-time job for me. Um, and, you know, was still very weight centric because I also was had a disorder relationship with food in my body as well. So it just made sense that I was also teaching what I knew at the time. And then the jobs after that, before I came to find Food Freedom or even Dietitians of Palm Valley, was also just kind of weight centric because that's really all I knew at the time. But interestingly enough, I found the intuitive eating book by Evelyn Tribbley and Elise Resch that we, live off of this kind of manifesto of these principles when I think in my mid-20s in 1995 when the book first came out. And I had a disordered relationship with food in my body since I was 19. And I found this book and thought, oh my God, this is going to be it. And I read it. And then I was like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Nobody talked about it, really intuitive eating. There was no support. There was nothing. So I did nothing and just kept on with my disordered relationship with food and body. And as the years went on and I worked in all these different jobs, I found you and you were here in Florida and we interviewed and it's been an amazing ride. I mean, we were dietitians of Palm Valley where we were seeing people in person, not really doing intuitive eating. We thought maybe we were, but we
But
weren't.
we weren't.
We really weren't. We called it, and then when you said to me, we really just we need to become intuitive eating counselors. I think I was just kind of at the end of like becoming more comfortable with my relationship with food and body, and then going through that intuitive eating certification was literally personally and professionally life-changing for me. I felt like I finally felt at peace personally, and I also felt like I had the tools to really be able to walk somebody through that journey as well.
Totally. I was on a podcast the other day where someone was asking me similar questions of my journey, and they're like, well, did you do like a personal journey? And I feel like I had a very similar answer to you, where it was like going through that certification with Evelyn Tribole. I was applying myself and my brain like for professional purposes, but it impacted me so deeply personally. Um, so yeah, for those listening, Julie and I did work in person. We used to counsel out of a private personal training gym. It's so crazy to think about how much has changed over the years. Um, but we did, I call it fence straddling, right? Like we fence
Yeah.
straddled for a long time because we had one foot in diet culture and then we had
Yeah.
one foot in intuitive eating. And it just felt icky for a while. What I would love to hear from you because I know you had a lot of clients. Like I can physically remember them coming in. Like what did it feel like when you had someone who wanted weight loss, but you were trying to talk about intuitive eating? Like what was that like as a
I mean,
counselor?
it was so hard because I think we were just as like just getting certified. We were still trying to figure that out, like that, how to articulate that. And, I remember, one specific client who like we did that diet, not that diet history, but like the whole story of diet. And I did that with her. And I think that was like the first time I walked through somebody the messaging around their bodies and when it started and what it looked like for them throughout their life, when I was really be able to like connect them to like where they are today and how that began. And it was like that I think that was like the first client that I remember like, okay, I feel like we're doing intuitive eating now. Because if you remember, I think we still had like meal plans. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. And
Because we
we were
were
like,
transitioning from
yeah,
Weight-Centric. I
right.
remember
And
you coming to me one time and be like,
I know, and
am I still giving meal
yeah,
plans?
I remember
I
saying,
don't know.
"Hi, Sam, knock, knock, knock." Like we just started. I mean, I just was new, and I was like, "I don't know if we should be doing this. If we're doing," and you're like, "Yeah, we're figuring it out." And it was just such a weird time that first year of like trying to get our feet like really like settled into this, and so it was an interesting time.
It was very interesting. And then I eventually had a mental breakdown where I was like, I can't do both anymore. And then we went full
Yeah,
blown intuitive eating, and here we
yeah,
are today. Um,
yeah,
but on that same vein of like working with people who want weight loss, I think this is a really great thing for you to touch on because so many of our clients desire weight loss, right? But there's a big difference between desiring weight loss and going full blown, towards the pursuit of intentional weight loss. So, how do you support clients that come to you saying, I want to make peace with food, I want to make peace with my body, but I still really want to lose weight? What does that look
Yeah.
like?
I mean, I just got off of supervision with one of the dietitians, and we just had this conversation because I feel like every client I see is still going to feel like I would like to be in a smaller body.
Hmm.
And that's okay. I tell people and I tell the girls that I supervise, like, you can hold these two opposing thoughts of, I would like to be in a smaller body, but I fucking don't want to diet anymore. I don't want to restrict. I don't want to like be focused on this. I don't want to be obsessive anymore. And I'm like, sometimes they just need to hear, okay, you can still want to be in a smaller body and you can also still not want to diet. It's the intention behind wanting to be in a smaller body, right? Like putting that effort into the restriction and the dieting. But you can still think that. I think being on an intuitive eating journey, it is very gray. It is not like, oh, there's an end, and then I'm going to be running through the fields with rainbows and butterflies naked with my hair flowing and like all is beautiful in the world. It's just not fucking like that, right? It's
Yep.
like it is very nuanced and it is a very gray area where you can be through your intuitive eating journey and 10 years in still kind of, oh, I'd like to still be in a smaller body, but there's no intention behind it. It's a thought. I always say thoughts kind of, they're like clouds. They come in, we acknowledge them, and then we just let them float away. We don't give them a lot of energy. We don't sit on it. We don't ruminate over it. We just let those negative thoughts kind of blow away. And so I feel like people need to understand that there is no end. It is a constant, kind of having those tools in your toolbox that I try to work with my clients to like when they're done with me, they have a full toolbox of things and skills and things that they can use on their own to cope. Um, and you're constantly pulling things out of that toolbox over the course of the rest of your life. But you are free. You are definitely free from the obsessiveness around food and your body and movement and all the things. But that's not to say that you're never going to have a negative thought pop up or a feeling of, I might still want to be in a smaller body, or what would it look like if I dieted again? I think most of my clients still kind of maybe carry that thought, but it is so far down because the freedom that they feel is so amazing that like it's just not worth it to go back there.
100%. And I mean, I even think about you and I. Like, we're certified intuitive eating counselors. We
Yeah.
do this work professionally. And I feel like we'll go to lunch and be like, what the fuck? Like, I had this thought. Or, like, and please, like, we can absolutely cut this if you don't want to go here. But I remember, like, there was a stage for you too. Was it entering menopause where, like, your body was changing
Oh,
and you were just like, what the fuck? Like, what? And you were almost, I remember you feeling like, I don't know what the right word is, but like you were surprised at how much it upset you because of the
yes.
work that you do.
Yeah, 100% because I really kind of like went through my quote unquote intuitive eating journey without
Hmm.
knowing that I was doing it. I just had gotten to
Yep.
the point in my mid 40s where like my body was like, "We done. We ain't losing anymore, sister." So like you're on your own. And I was like, "Okay, like what do I do? I guess I'm just gonna eat and not give a shit anymore." And so when I had gained a little bit of weight, I was like, all right, well, this is I'll deal with this. And then boom, menopause hit like a couple years later. And where I thought I was kind of cool with everything, like it hit like a brick wall. Like I was like, whew, okay, shit's moving. And like what am I doing here? And there was a lot of like revisiting all of the things that I had worked on initially. And I had to have a lot of this kind of that dialogue with myself, and to move myself through that. And I get a lot of women who are in that stage of life, whether it's between the mid 40s, mid 50s, that are going through that same exact thing. And I feel like, oh, I've been there. Like I get it. It feels almost like a betrayal of your body when you've wanted so long to be in a smaller body and now this thing is happening that like there's literally no control over it because you can't control it now, right? Like
Yes.
I could control it when I was younger, but like now it's not happening. I don't have hormones anymore. So yeah, that was enough, that was a little whammy, a little wobble in there, but it's been like 4 years now. And you definitely get to a place. I always tell my clients, like, you really have to focus on giving yourself grace. It is a process of time to live in this newer body that you are not familiar with. And the more time you give it and the more compassion you give it, the more you will move out of those phases. But it is not like, oh, I've been doing this for 3 months and I'm still not happy with my body. It is a time thing. It does take time and grace.
100%. And like you just shared, like things come up at different points of your life. It ebb and flows, right? Our bodies are always changing, and it's not about not having the negative thoughts, but it's how you move through them. And like you said before, the tools you have in your toolbox to get through those stages. I'm in the freshly postpartum era, so that brings up a lot. Going through IVF, that went through a lot. We have clients and providers that reside in larger bodies. So the discrimination and oppression and fat shaming simply for existing, I mean, the list goes on and on. Um, and the society that we live in does not make it any easier.
No,
So
no.
I guess like walking away from this conversation today, if I know we talked about a lot of different things and we kind of ping-ponged back and forth, but if someone's listening to this and they don't remember
Mhm.
anything else, what do you want them to remember walking away from this conversation? Whether it be about food, body image, intuitive eating, like what do you want our listeners to remember today?
I mean, I think just coming from my personal situation of having a disorder relationship with food in my body for probably 25 years, I'm very open and transparent about sharing that. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I feel like clients feel like, okay, you've gone through this. And like, I think it's really important to know that no matter how hard it gets, it is not a linear process of it doesn't just build one on after the other. It is a very up and down process. And when my clients are like, I'm really struggling, I don't know if this is right. I want them to have that body autonomy to say, yeah, it's not my time. And I'm like 100%, I'm on that with you. But if you give yourself like this season of life to really dig deep into your why you feel like you need to be in a smaller body and unpack that with me or one of the other providers, you will actually learn so much more about yourself. And it's not just about food. It's not just about body or movement or boundaries. It is about yourself that will take it will move you through the rest of your life in a totally different way than you will ever expect. And when you let go of society standards that you should be small to fulfill whatever fucking, you know, uh, void or whatever that people think we all need to be, there is a peace that comes over you when you allow this to work. There is a peace that comes with never having to have the obsessive thoughts and the stress. When I think back to the worst times in my life of restriction were the times in my life where I couldn't control, and the hard stress and restriction and what I sacrificed to the life that I have now, it is like night and day. And I would never go back to that. And it takes work, but it is so 100% worth it. And it's easy for me to say because I'm on the other side now.
Yep.
But
You've seen
I've
the
been,
light.
yeah, I've seen the light, but I've been on both sides and I know that
Hmm.
you can get through it. And that is what is the beauty of what we do here. And, you know, Sammy and I have been together for I don't, 6 years, 7 years. I don't even know how long it's been.
Forever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
forever. But like,
Everyone thinks we're sisters when we go
I
out in
know.
public
And
because
now,
our
oh my God, I
energy, oh
cut
my
my
God, we look a
hair.
lot alike and it's like
I know.
blonder. I love it.
But I think like we also have gone through an evolution of what intuitive eating looks like for our clients and how we present it. And like I feel like there is absolutely nothing else I could do in this profession outside of this. Like I don't know what else I could do because I feel
Yeah.
so strongly about helping every single woman who works with me or man to find this place of peace. Because let me tell you, like it's just a better quality of life for the fear of the body changing. That is something that we will always need to kind of focus on, but it's doable. And the beauty that the gratitude and the satisfaction I get from helping people is so enormous to know that what we work on together can be that life-changing that like it's like there's nothing better than what we do.
My next question for you was going to be, what is your favorite part of working one-on-one with a client? So you can expand on that if you want, but I feel like it's changing people's lives. And I mean, like you said, we've been together for years where, I mean, you send me like a client screenshot at least once a week of someone who's like, you changed my life. Like take Rennie's episode, right? Linked in the show notes below.
Yeah.
Like you and I cried listening to it. Is there anything you want to expand on of like your favorite part of
I
being
mean,
in session with clients?
I think I really love getting to know my clients, and I think that the thing that I love the most is when I am able to allow clients to feel vulnerable and know that they have a safe place with me. And I think that is the most important thing because you can't get anywhere with somebody if you don't provide a place where they feel comfortable. And I have always been like a pretty chill, easygoing person, like to get to know. And I feel like that in itself just allows for people, I'm kind of goofy and say dumb things and funny. And I think that like just gets people to feel kind of like this is going to be okay. It's not going to be scary. She's not going to be like, hard on me. And so I just feel like that is one of the I love that the most is just getting to know my clients on a level where we can truly get some work done and feel vulnerable, but also just yeah, the life-changing things that happen when I'm after months of meeting with the client and knowing that like it it doesn't it sometimes I don't realize that because sometimes we don't get that feedback, but when we do, it's like, wow, that's amazing that somebody feels that way because of the work that we did.
Yes, it's incredible. Well, thank you, Julie, for being here today. Thank you for all the incredible work that you do. And if you're listening to this and you're like, yep, I want to work with Julie, you can also go to the show notes where you can check your insurance benefits and click that link to schedule your one-on-one with Julie today.